Welcome back to Bank on Purpose. I'm Bill Pace,
I'm
and
Jody
this
Ogden. Today we've got the legendary Lance Riggen with us today. Now, Lance has got all sorts of credentials and all sorts of experience in real estate and everything. And so we're glad to have you here today, Lance. Me and Lance met a few years back, a mutual friend. Um, kind of got us on a good path, and Bill gets to see him a whole lot more than me. So let Bill finish introducing him here.
today on Bank on Purpose, we're joined by a man whose name carries weight in every room he walks into, Lance the Legend. Lance Reagan from Tyler, Texas, has earned that title by consistently showing up, doing the work, and helping others succeed along the way. He's known for creative deals, steady leadership, and a heart for his community. Lance, it's an honor to have you here today. Yeah, Lance is infamous here in this part of the country. So, why don't you tell us a little bit about how you got started in, especially here in Tyler, maybe?
Yeah, man. Hey, guys, thanks for having me, Jody, Bill. It's great to be on here. I love doing podcasts, man. I need to start another one. I do a weekly Zoom, as you know, but really want to start a podcast myself again. I did one for about a year and a half, and it was a lot of fun. But yeah, I actually moved to East Texas just 3 years ago this October. Funny enough, from Eugene, Oregon, man. Go Ducks. But I've been here for 3 years now, which is wild to me, right? My wife and I have been partners and we've been entrepreneurs for about 25 years. And so, as I like to say, I'm not employable, right? I'm not a good employee. I tend to like to do my own thing. And we got into real estate over 10 years ago, 11 years ago, started flipping houses aside from my full-time business that I ran. So that's an important little piece to add. We were working at least minimum of 10 hours in our other business and 2, 3, 4 hours a day on our flips when we started off. So it was a lot. It was a grind. It was a hustle, and we stayed consistent. We paid off some debt, paid off the IRS some money that we owed them. Those I won't say anything, but it was nice to be able to pay them off from my early beginnings of my business. But yeah, we moved to East Texas. Actually, we joined Sub 2. We went to and I won't get into my personal stuff. I can, but my wife and I've been through a lot. We've been together for about 25, 26 years now, right? We went through a rough patch in 2020, and that's what really led me to go full time and to move to East Texas, to be honest. My wife left me, and I had to figure some things out. That story is for another day, but I learned a lot. I decided to go on a journey to kind of rediscover myself and cut some baggage that I didn't need anymore, and really pursue, the best version of myself. So I started reading some books. I've been an avid reader for 20 years, but I was able to salvage my marriage. It took me 6 months, man. My wife was literally left. But on the backside of that, we took 6 months off. We sold our business, decided to go all in on real estate. Every successful entrepreneur, especially real estate investor that I'd ever listened to or read about, all had the one thing to say. It was always the same thing. It wasn't until I burned all the ships until I really saw true success. And so I knew at some point we were going to have to do that and not have a backup plan, And there's been some scary days, scary months, I like to call them character building moments in time where things get really kind of dicey, still to this day. But we basically, took 6 months off, found Pace, heard about Pace Morby at BP Con in San Diego in 2022. And that's when I decided to pull the trigger and join the community. I joined Gator. We ended up moving within a few weeks of that to East Texas. Had an amazing road trip here with our travel trailer, stopped in like 5 different cities. Moab, Utah, by far was my favorite spot. We got to visit the Arches National Park. It was amazing. But we got here and we got busy. We listened to a lot of the trainings on our road trip. So it was like a 14-day road
Well,
trip. So we listened to almost the entire training. At the time, it was at half of what there is in there now. And it was half the price too. But when we got here, guess what? Guess who started calling us? The guys from Sub 2. Hey, we saw that you joined our Gator program. We've got this other thing. And I go, what's this other? My wife and I sitting down on the table. We had this nest egg from selling our business in our primary residence in Oregon. we look at each other and they're pitching us, right, and we're like, wow, this sounds amazing because we knew about creative investing, but for us it was like, man, this isn't an expense. This would be another investment into our business because it's just more tools to add to our tool belt, right? And so we're sitting on our couch. No, I didn't think we had a couch yet. We were sitting on our camping chairs, I think, still. Well, our furniture showed up 2 weeks late, and all our stuff. So thankfully we had our trailer, but we're sitting in the living room and she goes like this. She goes, I was like, what? What? She goes, she's all muted, right? She goes, mute. That's what we do for mute. She goes, she's like, 10 grand. They're going to ask us for 10 grand watch. So, anyways, needless to say, we actually ended up paying 12 because we went with the executive package or whatever. And so, anyways, man, we started going crazy, dude. We got here. I saw there wasn't any meetups. I understood the value of networking. I do a lot of trainings about, networking with intention. And I started to meet up here in Tyler, Texas, and that's how I met Bill and a bunch of people here in the community. It took me quite a while, but we ended up finding a local title company. Man, it's been almost 18 months now. It's been almost a year and a half since we've been doing our meetups at Terry Title. They host our meetups. They pay for food and drinks, and we always have a spot. We don't have to pay for a spot, so it was a great partnership with them. So and they were the only ones in town that I knew that do creative finance. So we kind of built a relationship, with
A
Grant
lot
over
better than those early
there.
ones when you dealing just some building or a Pizza Hut place
A
or
pizza
something.
place or freaking coffee shops, and I was renting rooms at this little coffee shop downtown. But yeah, we would go wherever, so.
Yeah.
But it's been an incredible journey so far, man, and we can get into any part of it you'd like. We've had a lot of ups and downs. We failed forward, like I said, we're asset heavy right now. We're cash poor. Our money's tied up in most of our assets. We've got over $6 million in assets. We've got a $1.2 million six door portfolio under contract right now that we're going to close in January. But we've done a lot in the short period of time that we went all in. So I'd love to dig into
So,
some of it.
so let's start back a little bit toward the first there. You said you were talking about the entrepreneurial stuff in Oregon and stuff,
Mhm.
and now business just was, you talked on that the little bit of the negative. So you mean you don't just start a business and it just poof, you're rich right from the get-go? I mean,
Yeah, I wish. Yeah, there's no fast track, right? It's funny you say that, Jody, because in our community we have a Facebook group, and I see people jump in there all the time, even in the free group. What's the fastest way to get make money? I just lost my job, I'm just thinking, oh man, fastest way to make money, go get another job, right? You're not gonna make. It's not an overnight success story. It takes time. We've made some big chunks of money over the last 3 years, but by the time we get that big chunk of money, we're past due and we're owed bills and we got to pay credit cards off. So it goes quick. I see people all the time. They're like, "Hey, being an entrepreneur is great. A real estate investor is great. One day I got a $50,000 check. The next day I got $4 in my account, right? Or 3 days
yeah,
later
yeah,
or
yeah.
so.
3 days later, I look at the balance, it's a negative. Wow,
Yeah,
how did I do
yeah,
that?
yeah. So
Trying
it's
to keep
true.
everything up. Yeah.
Yeah, I think the best way to get started though, and to move quickly is to partner and JV with others, other experienced operators, experienced investors. Really, that's the best way.
Yeah. I agree. There is you get somebody that's already doing it and jump on with them, let them teach you the hard lessons. So,
Yeah.
or teach
Yep.
you from their already hard lessons. Not that there won't
Yeah.
be more, but you definitely narrow
Yes.
that down.
Exactly. Well, and it's hard. It's hard for, especially men. I feel like we have this independent, attitude. We want to do it on our own, lone wolf it, right? I'm self-made. I've built businesses before. Why do I need to bring someone in on this? I can figure it out. Well, yeah, you can. It's going to take you a lot longer. For one, you're going to make a lot more mistakes. Two, and three, 100% of nothing is not, or sorry, 50% of something is better than 100% of nothing, right? So it
Absolutely.
might take you 5 6 months to get your first deal, whereas if you partner with somebody, you can probably get your first deal within the first month, you know. So I had a hard time myself wrapping my head. I go, why? I'm not gonna. It took me 2 or 3 months to really start realizing, okay, I had to have a mindset shift and go, wait a minute, this is starting to make sense. I don't know enough about some of this stuff. Let me, um, you know, partner with other people, and that's what I did.
I would imagine for you already being the established entrepreneur, that would be even harder too, because it was for me thinking this way, the way I do now about partnerships and teaming up versus because I've been in a few partnerships that, it didn't go pretty and
Hmm.
there's bad sides of it. And
Yes. Yeah.
so on that note, what do you do to kind of mitigate so you don't get into those bad partnerships?
That's a great question. Great question. So I like to call it a dating phase, like Pace says. You go on a date first. You have a JV agreement. Simple, right? I don't actually have any LLCs that I have partners with, right? My wife and I are partners. That's my main partner, right? She's the
Yeah.
integrator. I'm the visionary. She's an amazing TC. She's great with contracts, dealing with attorneys, dealing with title companies, the post close, and actually upfront acquisitions as well. So I come in, I'm the network guy. I find the deals, I find the money to fund the deals. I put the deal together, the team together. That's what I do best. And so um, we haven't actually done an LLC together with any particular. And if I do, it's going to be my LLC and their LLC in a joint LLC. And then the most important part when you do take that step after you've done one or two deals, probably at least with somebody, and you're like, hey, let's take the next step. Let's form a business, a partnership together. You want to have a prenup up front, right? You want to have a very clear, concise plan. Hey, if this doesn't work, how do we get out? You can buy me out. I can buy you out. We can split it and just walk away, sell the assets, whatever. But it's super important to have that in place because you're right. I had a really bad partnership myself right after the housing crash of '08, right? The recession. I almost lost my granite company that I had, and I decided to team up with a good buddy of mine. We did all kinds of stuff together. We partied 4th of July, camping trips, fishing trips, barbecues, and it destroyed our friendship.
That's what
Basically,
that's what I
completely.
was gonna say is that's where
Yeah,
where that prenup is
yeah,
key,
yes,
especially because the friendship, in all
yeah,
honesty, is way more important than the business ever
yeah.
was. And you
Hmm.
got to look at that. And mine was the same scenario. We partnered with a good friend and had a car dealership with them and whatnot. And
Yeah.
when that split, I lost not only a good friend to me, but it was his entire family and my entire family were friends and whatnot. And
Mm.
although we still chat from time to time, it's not that
Yeah.
friendship isn't there, and it's really sad because that was way more important. Business I
Oh
learned a
yeah.
lot from, he learned a lot from, I'm sure, but it just ain't worth it on the friendship side. Cut
No, it's not.
anything you can think of on the front end.
Yep.
Let's I don't care. Let's dream it up.
Yes.
The worst thing could happen. The best thing could happen. Whatever. Let's figure out wherever we're going to have the problem, and we document what we do with whatever problem. I think that's brilliant.
Yeah, 100%. It's so important. And it's like you said, man, I'm glad you touched on that because relationships is number one. I,
Hmm.
I I just had a new Gator reach out to me yesterday on Messenger. He goes, "Hey Lance, I'm new, blah blah blah. I'm looking at this $500,000 loan that he wants to connect on, so he doesn't have the money, right? It's not his
Hmm.
deal. He doesn't know the borrower at all. They need to close by this Friday." I go, bro, red flag,
Hmm.
red flag. First of all, you're starting off way too high. If you want to wedge yourself into a deal, start off with something smaller, 30, $40,000, right? But if you don't know the borrower at all and you haven't vetted him at all, no, don't do it at all. You've got to build that relationship first, build trust. Ask me how I know, right? I've lost money. I know a lot of people that have lost money on bad deals, right? And that's the ugly side of it is it's real estate investing. It's a risk. It's risky, right? Just like the stock market, crypto, or anything else. Like I know people who've had hundreds of thousands that are just losing their shorts in crypto, right? This last couple of months, and that's the thing. You have to be very clear and upfront with people. Hey, look, we have a proven track record. I have a credibility packet. I can show you the dozens of deals that I've done creatively. But it's real estate. There's inherent risk in real estate. My job is to mitigate that risk as much as I possibly can, right? And we've got the experience. We know how to pivot. We know how to, make things work if we have to. And multiple exit strategies is one of those things that's important. But at the end of the day, it's real estate, right? I've got a property right now, right? Speaking of the darker side that people don't talk about, the market's really flat everywhere right now, right? And there are good deals here, but they're under $250,000. Those are the only ones moving in Tyler, Texas right now. Anything above 250 is sitting on the market. I've got a house that I listed for 360. We renovated it. We were going to actually keep it for a midterm rental. It's in a really nice part of town. When we picked it up, a cash deal, I picked it up for 200,000. The ARV in the neighborhood that we were seeing was 390, 410, right?
Wow.
So I'm thinking 50 grand in this thing, we'll flip it real quick. No, right? Didn't happen. Um, so we were going to keep it as a rental actually for a midterm because there was like 60K in equity. Then they wanted the refinance company because the appraisal came in shitty, right?
Mhm.
We couldn't refinance out. They wanted $30,000 to refinance this thing into a DSCR, and I'm like, you're out of your mind. Like
30.
yeah, 30 grand, and I go no way. So we listed it. We pivoted, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
It sat on the market for 3 or 4 months. Didn't get one offer. Got some like stupid lowball investor offers, right, for cash. Uh, but so I said, man, well, what are we going to do now? Our loan is almost due. Thankfully, the product we got was a hard money loan, 12 months, zero payments with a balloon after 12 months. So it really helped. But we've got this property sitting empty that I have some investor money in, and so we go back to pivot to sell again or to refinance again. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
And again, same thing, right? The house is, in my opinion, right now it's worth 350 easy. The appraisal came in at 327, and that doesn't even that makes that's again a 30 grand out of my pocket. I get like I don't have 30 grand available liquid, right?
Yeah.
So what are we gonna do? Talk to the hard money lender. They go, well, Lance, we're not gonna foreclose on you. The last thing we want to do is foreclose. You're gonna accrue some late penalty fees, but our team's going to want to see you listed again. So I took it off the market so I could refinance it because you can't have it on the market. It's half to one. It's like half to one, 60, half a dozen, 160 the other. So it's like a double-edged sword. What do I do? And they go, well, I get it, right? You're not the only one in this pinch. A lot of people are having tough time right now. So here we are again. Now we're going to list it again. My hope is, we might have to get a bridge loan for 6 months, but the hope is to this next 2 or 3 months, I think early spring, we're going to see some rates come down. If we can get down below 6, I think we'd be in good shape. People are going to start buying again.
Yeah.
But it's just a tough market. You just have to learn how to pivot. You can't get emotional, right? And sentimental about this stuff. It's business at the end of the day. And I already called my partner that's in it with me and who lent me some cash on it. Not much. It's like 25K, but still, that's money that I'm going to have to pay him back. And I go, well, look, if you want to put another 30,000 in this thing, we can refinance it. I'll give you all the cash flow. We'll manage it. But he's like, look, man, I don't think so. Right. It's too risky. I go, well, look, we'll figure something out then. Right. But
Yeah.
that's just the truth of it. Open
What?
communication and transparency is key. Right. Every deal doesn't go smooth. I am going to let my partners know right off the bat. Hey, look, here's where we're at. We're in a pinch. We need to figure something out. And that's why I still have a pretty good reputation because things don't always go smooth, man. Ask Pace. Pace and Jameel got ripped off for $1 million about a year ago. You guys remember that? They got scammed
Mhm.
out of $1 million. And so, anyways, but yeah, those are some of the dark things, right? And then just it's not a very sexy that part of the business, but I
Well,
can tell you a sexy part if you want a deal that was really sexy earlier this year.
but really,
That's kind of stuff that put a twist in your knickers.
knowing the bad stuff
Yeah,
when you
that's
go
right.
into this is so much more important. I mean, just the
Yeah.
cool thing I think you nailed there that I want to really point out to people is the fact you went back to your lender or your partner.
Yeah.
You let him know you communicated, so that's great. And then on top of it, you're okay. However you want to play this, we can play this
Hmm.
these few different ways. But no
Yeah.
matter what, it's not
Yeah.
about what I lose out of it. It's I'm going to make you whole again. Now, you
Right.
may not make the ton of money that maybe we expected at first, but
Yeah.
at least I make you whole, and
Right.
that integrity there is huge. In
Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah, it is tough, man.
Great stuff, Lance. Thanks for that share. It's great to hear from Lance the Legend.